It begins on a Tuesday morning, the kind of morning where the subway smells like coffee and ambition, where briefcases bump against tourists and the city hums with its usual chaos. At 7:24 a.m., everything changes. Not with sound, not yet, but with light. On a screen, in a control room 300 miles away, a trajectory that shouldn't exist, heading toward a city that can't escape. At first, no one knows. In Manhattan, a barista steams milk. In Brooklyn, a teacher takes attendance. In Queens, a nurse finishes her night shift. The rhythm of 8 million lives continues, oblivious, until the phones begin to vibrate. At 7:24 a.m., the first alert reaches government systems. Silent, classified. A digital whisper that races through military channels. NORAD detects the launch signature. Analysts confirm trajectory. Target identification follows in seconds. New York City. Impact in 15 minutes. By 7:26 a.m., the information spreads to emergency services. Fire stations receive coded messages. Police precincts go silent mid-roll call. And then, at 7:27 a.m., every phone in the 5 boroughs screams at once. The emergency alert system doesn't ask politely. It doesn't explain. The message is blunt, mechanical, impossible. Ballistic missile threat inbound to New York City. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. The sound is sharp, unmistakable, the kind of tone that bypasses thought and triggers instinct. In Times Square, tourists stare at their screens in confusion. In office towers, meetings freeze mid-sentence. On the subway, passengers look around, waiting for someone to explain that this is a mistake. But no one does, because no one knows what to say. The city has practiced for fires, for floods, for blackouts. Not for this. Not for 15 minutes until obliteration. At 7:28 a.m., disbelief begins to fracture. Someone in a coffee shop shouts, "Is this real?" A mother on the Upper West Side grabs her daughter's hand and starts running. She doesn't know where, just away. In Midtown, a businessman drops his briefcase and sprints toward the nearest subway entrance. Others follow without thinking. The panic doesn't roar, not yet. It builds, person by person, block by block, a wave gathering momentum. At 7:29 a.m., the streets of Manhattan transform. What was orderly becomes chaos. What was human becomes survival. Cars slam on brakes, horns blare. Drivers abandon vehicles in the middle of intersections, doors flung open, engines still running. The Brooklyn Bridge clogs instantly. Thousands flee toward anywhere that isn't Manhattan. But the bridge is a funnel, and funnels trap. Within minutes, movement stops. People push, shove. Some climb over hoods of cars. Others turn back, realizing the bridge won't save them. In subway stations, the crush is worse. Thousands pour down stairwells designed for hundreds. Bodies press together. Air grows thin. The platforms overflow, and still more people come. Trains sit motionless on tracks. Conductors receive orders to shelter in place, but passengers don't listen. They claw at doors, screaming to be let off, to be let on, to move anywhere but here. Above ground, police officers try to direct the flood, but their voices vanish beneath the roar. Some officers abandon their posts and run. Others stand frozen, staring at the sky, searching for something they won't see until it's too late. At 7:31 a.m., 12 minutes remain. The city fractures into 1,000 desperate choices. Some people sprint toward basements, others toward open space, convinced that distance from buildings will save them. Both are wrong. In Central Park, crowds gather without reason, as if trees and grass offer protection from what's coming. Families huddle together, strangers hold hands. A man kneels in the dirt and prays aloud. Around him, others begin to kneel too. In office towers, executives and janitors press into elevator shafts, stairwells, storage rooms, anywhere without windows. The lights flicker. Emergency intercoms crackle with instructions no one can hear over the shouting. At Grand Central Terminal, the vaulted ceiling amplifies the screams. Thousands cram into underground passages. Some head toward tracks, hoping the tunnels will shield them. Others push toward exits, still believing escape is possible. And then the phones begin to ring. Not alerts, calls. Millions of them. Parents calling children, husbands calling wives, friends calling friends. The networks collapse under the weight. Most calls don't connect. Those that do last seconds before cutting out. A woman in Brooklyn clutches her phone, listening to her son's voice break apart mid-sentence. "Mom, and then silence. She screams his name into dead air. At 7:34 a.m., 9 minutes remain. The psychological shift begins. Flight becomes stillness. Panic becomes acceptance. In a basement in the Bronx, a family sits in a circle, holding each other. No words, just touch. In a subway car trapped between stations, passengers stop pounding on doors. They sit. Some cry quietly. Others stare at nothing. A young woman writes a message on her phone, knowing it won't send. "I love you. I'm sorry I never said it enough." In Times Square, the digital billboards go dark. One by one, the lights that never sleep extinguish. The silence that follows is eerie. For the first time in decades, Times Square is quiet. The crowd that remains stands in the center, faces turned upward, waiting. At 7:36 a.m., 7 minutes remain. Emergency services have stopped responding. 911 operators receive thousands of calls per second. Most go unanswered. Those that connect hear the same thing: sobbing, prayers, goodbyes. Across the city, small acts of humanity emerge. A stranger pulls an elderly man into a basement. A teacher gathers children into the center of a classroom, singing softly to drown out the sirens. A bodega owner opens his doors, waving people inside. "Come, all of you, come." In hospitals, doctors and nurses make impossible choices. Who to move to basements, who to leave behind. Patients too sick to move grip their hands. "Stay with me, please." Some do. At 7:38 a.m., 5 minutes remain. The city holds its breath. In the silence between sirens, you can hear it. The hum of millions of hearts beating in unison. Fear, hope, defiance. In a penthouse overlooking Central Park, a man stands by the window. He knows he should go to the basement, but he can't look away. He wants to see it, to witness the moment the world ends. In a subway tunnel beneath the East River, a group of strangers sits in darkness. Someone starts singing, a hymn maybe, or a lullaby. Others join.
Their voices echo off the concrete walls, fragile and beautiful. At 7:40 a.m., 3 minutes remain. Phones vibrate one last time, not with alerts, with messages that finally break through the jammed networks. I love you. I'm here. I'm sorry. Goodbye. A father in Staten Island reads a text from his daughter in Manhattan. I'm scared, Dad. He types back, hands shaking. Me too, baby, but you're brave. You've always been brave. He presses send and prays it reaches her. At 7:42 a.m., 1 minute remains. The sirens stop. The screaming stops. The city falls silent. In that silence, 8 million people wait, some with eyes closed, others wide open, holding hands, holding breath, holding on to the last seconds of the world they know. And then, at 7:43 a.m., the sky ignites. The flash comes first, brighter than the sun, brighter than anything the human eye was meant to see. For those facing it, vision burns away instantly. For those turned away, shadows sear into walls, permanent echoes of bodies that no longer exist. In Brooklyn, 4 miles from Ground Zero, a man watches through a basement window. The light is blinding, even through glass. He stumbles backward, hands over his face. When he opens his eyes again, the world is white. Nothing but white. The heat arrives next, a wall of invisible fire racing outward at thousands of miles per hour. Buildings nearest the blast don't collapse. They vaporize. Steel, concrete, glass, reduced to vapor in fractions of a second. The skyline of Lower Manhattan gone. Just gone. At 3 miles out, structures ignite instantly. Wood, fabric, plastic, human skin. Flames consume everything exposed. In Midtown, office towers shudder. Windows shatter inward, sending glass through corridors like shrapnel. People sheltering near windows are shredded before they understand what's happening. Then comes the sound. Not immediately. Sound moves slower than light, slower than heat. For 10 seconds, there is only silence, an eerie, impossible silence. And then the roar arrives. It's not a single explosion. It's a continuous, tearing scream. The sound of air being ripped apart, of the earth howling. It shatters eardrums, stops hearts. In the Bronx, the shockwave hits like a physical blow. Cars flip, trees snap, buildings sway and crack. In the subway tunnels, the concussion wave travels through concrete. The ground bucks, lights explode, dust and debris fill the air. People are thrown against walls, against each other, screaming though they can't hear their own voices. At 7:44 a.m., 1 minute after detonation, the mushroom cloud begins to rise, a column of fire and ash climbing towards the heavens. It grows larger than the city itself, larger than imagination. From 20 miles away, people watch it ascend, a monument to destruction, beautiful and terrible. By 7:50 a.m., the cloud reaches 40,000 feet. The top flattens, spreading outward. Beneath it, Manhattan is unrecognizable. Where skyscrapers stood, there was only rubble and flame. Where parks stretched green, there was only ash. The island smolders, silent, empty. In the outer boroughs, survivors emerge, stunned, deafened, bleeding. They step into streets transformed. Buildings lean at impossible angles. Fires burn everywhere, unchecked. The smell is overwhelming. Burning plastic, burning metal, burning flesh. Communication is dead. No phones, no radios, no sirens. The digital world has vanished, leaving only analog chaos. People wander, searching for loved ones, for help, for answers. They find none. At 8:15 a.m., 32 minutes after detonation, the fallout begins. Invisible at first, just particles drifting down like snow. Gray ash settling on shoulders, on cars, on faces. Most people don't realize what it is. Not yet. They brush it off absent-mindedly, a fatal mistake. Those who know, those who remember Cold War drills, shout warnings. Get inside, don't touch it, don't breathe. But their voices are lost, and many don't listen. They're too focused on the fires, the injuries, the missing. Hospitals nearest the blast are gone. Those farther out are overwhelmed instantly. Thousands of injured flood in. Burns, lacerations, radiation exposure. The staff, those who survived, work without power, without supplies. Triage becomes guesswork. Who might live? Who is already dying? By 9 a.m., the scale of the catastrophe becomes clear to those outside the blast zone. From New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, the mushroom cloud is visible, a dark pillar marking where New York City used to be. Emergency broadcasts, those that still function, repeat the same instructions. Do not attempt to enter New York City. Radiation levels are lethal. Shelter in place. Await further instruction. But for millions with family in the city, waiting is impossible. Highways leading toward the city clog with people driving in, first responders, volunteers, desperate relatives. They meet a tide flowing out, survivors fleeing on foot, in cars, any way they can. Two masses colliding, both driven by the same thing: love, fear. In Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, D.C., emergency alerts scream again, warnings that more missiles could be coming. Entire cities evacuate. Millions flood highways. The eastern seaboard descends into paralysis. At 10 a.m., the government issues its first official statement, a voice on every functioning radio. At 7:43 a.m., New York City was struck by a nuclear weapon. Casualties are estimated in the millions. The source is under investigation. Citizens are urged to remain calm. Martial law is in effect for the tri-state area. Further instructions will follow. The words hang in the air. Millions. The number is too large to comprehend, too large to mourn. By noon, 5 hours after impact, a new reality settles. In basements and shelters across the outer boroughs, survivors huddle in darkness. Fallout continues to drift. Radiation levels remain lethal for miles. Authorities broadcast shelter-in-place orders. Do not go outside. Do not open windows. Do not consume tap water. But supplies are limited. Families ration bottled water, count canned goods, wonder how long they'll have to wait. Days? Weeks? No one knows. No one is saying. In the Bronx, a makeshift shelter forms in a school basement. 200 people crammed into a space meant for 50. Children cry. Adults argue in whispers. One man insists they should leave, risk the fallout, find help. Others hold him back. You'll die out there. We all will. Across the river in Queens, a woman sits alone in her apartment. Her phone is dead. Her family was in Manhattan. She knows they're gone. But she can't stop staring at the door, waiting for them to walk through, waiting for the nightmare to end. By 3 p.m., the fires begin to subside, not from intervention, but from lack of fuel. Entire neighborhoods have burned to nothing. The wind shifts, carrying smoke and ash inland. Connecticut, upstate New York, Pennsylvania, all watch the sky darken. At 6 p.m., as the sun sets behind the mushroom cloud, the survivors face their first night. Power is out across the region. Darkness falls absolute. In the silence, you can hear it. Distant cries, collapsing structures, the creak of a dying city. In basements, people huddle by candlelight. Some tell stories, others sit in silence. A father holds his daughter, whispering promises he knows he can't keep. We'll be okay. Help is coming. But help isn't coming. Not yet. First responders can't enter the hot zones. Medical supplies can't be delivered. The infrastructure that once connected millions has dissolved. Amateur radio operators, scattered across the country, become the only link. Voices crackling through static, sharing fragments of information. Avoid Manhattan entirely. Radiation levels critical. Brooklyn and Queens showing survivable levels by tomorrow. Hospitals in Jersey overwhelmed. Bring supplies if you can. By nightfall, 17 hours after detonation, exhaustion overtakes fear. In darkened shelters, people sleep, fitfully, haunted by dreams of light and sound. Others stay awake, listening, waiting for the next alert, the next missile, the next end.
When dawn breaks on the second day, it brings no relief. The sun rises over a landscape transformed. From the air, you can see it clearly. A crater where Lower Manhattan stood. Fires still burning across Brooklyn and Queens. Smoke rising like 1,000 funeral pyres. Slowly, cautiously, survivors begin to emerge. The fallout has settled. Radiation levels, while dangerous, are no longer instantly lethal in the outer zones. People step outside wearing makeshift masks, scarves, t-shirts, anything to cover nose and mouth. The streets are apocalyptic. Abandoned cars, collapsed buildings, bodies, so many bodies. People avert their eyes, keep moving, searching for anything. Water, food, family. At 8 a.m., the first relief convoys reach the perimeter. National Guard units establish checkpoints. They distribute water, medical supplies, radiation detectors. But it's not enough. It will never be enough. In a tent outside Newark, doctors work in assembly line fashion, treating burns, radiation sickness, trauma. They save who they can, mark the dying with red tags, move on. There's no time for grief. By noon, makeshift camps form. Thousands of displaced New Yorkers gather under overpasses, in parking lots, in fields. They share what little they have. A bottle of water, a can of soup, a blanket, the basics of survival. In the days that follow, the nation begins to understand what has been lost. Not just a city, but a symbol, a home, a heartbeat. News channels, those still broadcasting, show images of the crater, the mushroom cloud, the exodus. Across America, people gather in silence. Vigils, memorials, churches overflow, strangers embrace. The grief is collective, universal. 8 million lives gone in 15 minutes. But amid the devastation, something else emerges. Resilience. In shelters, neighbors who never spoke before now share meals. Volunteers flood in from across the country. Donations pour in. Blood, money, supplies. In a basement in Brooklyn, a group of survivors sits in a circle. Someone starts to speak. I'm Sarah. I lived in the East Village. I don't know if my building still exists. Others introduce themselves. Names, identities, stories. Proof they're still here, still alive. A teacher organizes lessons for children in the camp. Math with stones,
reading with scraps of newspaper. We keep going, she tells them. That's what we do. In the wreckage of a bodega, a man salvages canned goods. He could keep them, but instead he loads them into a wagon and pulls it to the camp. For everyone, he says. Weeks pass, then months. The crater remains, a scar on the earth visible from space. But around it, life, slowly, painfully, returns. Survivors rebuild. Not New York as it was. That city is gone, but something new, something born from ash. History will measure this day in numbers, casualties, megatons, radius of destruction. But those who lived through it measure it differently. In moments. The last phone call, the stranger who pulled them into a basement, the choice to stay or run, to give up or endure. At 7:43 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, a city vanished. 8 million lives changed forever. But the will to survive? That remained, unbreakable, human. And so the story doesn't end with destruction. It ends with a question. What do you do when the world ends? You wake up the next morning, you find the others, and you begin again.